Hey everyone. So I wanted to go live today to talk about an experience a lot of you are having that you haven't figured out how to name yet. So I'm going to take a moment and allow Instagram to inform you guys that I am live. Welcome, hello. And I want to just talk with you guys about how to identify, is it grief you're experiencing or something else? Now, we all understand grief in terms of like there's a death and we feel sad and we're mourning and we're grieving, right? We understand this vocabulary. But grief shows up in a variety of other ways in our lives, and most of us aren't even aware of it. And what I want to do today is just draw some light on what grief actually is so that you're able to recognize it faster and then know what to do about it. You know, those of you who follow me and are part of my community, and maybe you're just watching today and you don't really know me well, um, you've experienced a lot of life. You've gone through a lot of things. The people who are in my space tend to have some of the most resilient hidden grief charts that I get to look at, where I'm just like, holy cow, you guys have gone through so much. And we often forget that all of those things we've gone through, all of the challenges, all of the experiences come with letting go of things. Maybe it was dreams we had and they've been lost. Maybe it was shifts or adjustments that had to be made that we feel like there was a part of us we had to let go of, or we compromised more than we wish we had, or maybe we feel resentment or regret. And we're just kind of in this place of like, ugh, and it weighs on us, right? Like we feel it on our chest, on our shoulders, on our minds. We lay in bed and we're just thinking about it constantly. Oh God, and then that happened, and then this happened, and right? We're just constantly focused on the things that have happened to us. And when that occurs, when we start to see that we have these stories that stay from our past in our minds, then we know there's something unresolved, right? There's some emotional and there's some mental baggage there, and I'm stuck with it. And I always say to my clients, like, it's like trying to get on an airplane and be like, I want to go to this next destination in my life. I want to really like grow and become this person. I want to step into this next level me. But then you try to get on the plane with like 40 pieces of luggage. And as soon as they tell you, no, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to check this baggage and it's going to be pretty costly, you're like, but all of this baggage represents me. It's things I've been through. It's like, it's who I am. It's shaped who I am. It's like I'm attached to it. And they're like, sorry, you just can't get on the plane. But that's how it is in life. We want to go to this next level of us. We want to grow. We want to heal from all of that. But we also want to carry it with us because it's been around for so long. We identify with it. We identify with it. It is part of who we believe we are. Instead of realizing there is grief work to be done, there are lessons to be learned in that process of grief work. And then from there, and only from there, do we start to check that baggage. And then get on the plane, right? Like maybe just bring a backpack and a little roller. So when we talk about, is it grief or is it something else? Here are some things I want you to think about. Is it grief? Do you find yourself emotionally triggered by situations that logically you're like, okay, this just seems small, but for some reason I am just exploding, or I'm crying all of a sudden, or, maybe you hear lyrics to a song or you watch something and you're like, oh, this hits. Like this is hitting something. There's something still there. If you find that you keep yourself busy, your schedule like really busy so that you don't have idle time to stop and think. If you find yourself when you're laying in bed really restless because your mind keeps focusing on that thing you said, that thing they did, that feeling of like, why did this have to happen this way? And feeling kind of like a victim in your life. That is a sign of unresolved grief. If you're finding that you have health issues like digestion problems, insomnia, muscular skeletal, like always tense, always tight. And yes, you might be working at a computer all day long, but if it's also just like in everyday life, you just feel this tenseness, you're holding on to something. Our bodies and our minds are so interconnected that if our minds aren't allowing us to experience it, our bodies will, right? Our bodies are just gonna be like, it's time to let this out. And when you've gone through so much life as we have, our bodies start to scream. And that was my own journey of realizing something's not right. I was noticing my body was reacting to food a certain way and situations, and I emotionally was getting reactive. And it was this remembrance that there is hidden grief still there. And it is only hidden because I have not brought it to the forefront. And I've tried to avoid it. I've tried to get away from it. So when it comes to, is it grief or is it something else? I don't know if you noticed, but it tends to be grief. It tends to be emotional and mental baggage that we need to resolve. When we have emotional reactions to certain things, when we notice belief systems that are no longer serving us, if you go through life and you keep hitting red lights when you're driving and, somehow it always works out that people forget to call you or always are forgetting you. And you just feel like, why does this keep happening to me? If you say things like that, why is this happening to me today? What did I do to deserve this? Why does all this keep happening in my life? You have the belief system that you're being punished. You have the belief system that you are a victim of your life versus in control of your life. Why are these things happening to me? I'm such a good person, but these things are happening to me. And it's like, okay, halt. What about life just happens? Good, bad, positive, negative. Use whatever words you want to describe it. But what has happened is now you have applied it to, it must be about me. Because we're parented through punishment, right? Most of us were. I mean, I was spanked. I don't know about you guys. Like punishment. We've gone through life with punishment, and in the school systems there's punishment, and in the workplace there's punishment, right? And so of course when bad things happen, things that impact our ability to move forward smoothly, things that impact our progress, then we immediately think punishment, someone's out to get me, I've done something wrong. That is because of hidden grief. It is because of childhood situations where it kind of like put you in a box and said, this is your box and you stay in it. And you're like, but I don't like this box. And they're like, I don't care. You're in the box. And you're like, okay, well now this is part of my identity and it's a piece of luggage I'm going to carry with me in life. So when we start to understand, okay, there is grief in my life that is unresolved. Katie, what do I do about it? Well, this is what I'm excited to share with you, because on February 20th, it's the first step in your journey on recognizing this grief and then learning what to do. February 20th, I'm doing an online class. It is for 33 American dollars, 30 euro if you're here in Europe as well. And it is the best gift you can give to a friend or a loved one as well, because I'm teaching 5 tools on how to grieve in today's world. This world is all about move on, suck it up. Are you still focused on that? Nobody died. Why are you crying? Why are you so upset? Okay, great. Well, I am grieving, so leave me alone. Okay, now what do we do about it? And how do we stop numbing out with wine, numbing out through doom scrolling on our phone, numbing out through binge watching stuff, numbing out through over exercising, numbing out through overeating, whatever it is, right? How do we stop doing that? And how do we start integrating grief work into our normal day and our week so that the triggers are way less? So that we find ourselves not needing to cope in unhealthy ways and we actually can face the challenges in our lives. Because what happens is all this adds up, right? We've gone through all these life experiences and we're like, boom, 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 boom. And then it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. One small thing happens that normally wouldn't set us over, but that thing is like, bam, done. And we explode, we blow up, we do something we regret. And we're all in that phase right now of kind of like getting into the midlife, if we're not already there. And so this is where like the midlife, people like to call it midlife crisis. I don't like that. It's a midlife transition. We're in a transformational phase. So people think, oh, and then this crisis happens. No, the reality is we just got tired of how things were, and we finally stepped up and did something about it. But it may have not been the best way to handle it. Buying that car, having that affair, running off and doing that thing, quitting your job. These were probably not the best ways to handle it. But we are in a transformational phase. And if we don't deal with the grief, then we deal with it in unhealthy ways. But if we learn the tools to deal with the grief, then all of a sudden we can handle anything that comes our way. So that's February 20th. I would love to share the link. You can either look at the link in my bio, or you can actually send me a DM that says link, and I will just send you over the link to register. And you do get the replay if you can't attend live. So that's from 8 to 9:30 p.m. on February 20th, and that is Central European time, because I'm in Munich, Germany, but I'm not German. Yes, my last name is German. This is why I don't sound German. I'm American. And that's 2 to 3:30 p.m. then Eastern Standard Time. So I would love to have you join. Take this as a personal invitation to come and be a part of it. You get to ask me any questions. I'm going to share with you a little bit about the history of grief, why it is the way it is for us, why we struggle with it, what we can start to do to change that, because you probably are in a home where you'd like some other people in the family to shift how they view grief, and also just emotional, like build their emotional intelligence, right? We all need that, because most of us were not taught that. So take a moment, send me a DM that says link, or post in the comments below link, and I will make sure to send that registration link to you. And as you go through this video and maybe you watch it again and you start to kind of reflect, okay, where's grief showing up in my life? What are the things I still have grief about? If you've got questions, send me a DM. I'm so happy to voicemail back and forth with you. You can write me. You don't have to voicemail. I just am a voicemailer. And I will share with you my thoughts on what it is you're feeling stuck in your hidden grief, and the areas that you just feel like are like, how do I get through this? What do I do? So, okay, I hope you enjoyed this live. I hope now you're able to see, is it grief or something else? And I look forward to hopefully seeing you on February 20th for the workshop.